Hey everyone, John Ponick with the Mohave Valley Daily News. We're here for Chalk Talk. It's brought to you by Anderson Ford of Bullhead City. So we'd like to thank the guys over at Anderson Ford for sponsoring this. I am here with it's kind of weird to call you the new coach, the new head coach of Melk Baseball. This is Coach Aaron Lacasse. How you doing, Coach?
Good, how are you?
Good. And the reason it's funny is that years ago when I was teaching and coaching down at River Valley, Coach Lacasse was the baseball coach down there. And when I was looking up trying to see what years things were, it's been 10 years. 10 years ago in 2012, Coach Lacasse took the River Valley boys all the way and won a state championship. So.
Yeah,
10
time
years.
flies.
Yeah, you still look the same age. You still look just like you did 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, Coach Dimmick retired last year. You've been assistant coach here for 4 years, so this is your 5th year coaching. It's kind of weird being back in the shot caller here at the top.
It's a pretty smooth transition.
Yeah.
I did a lot of the practice plans, and Ray, kind of let me do what I wanted, and obviously he had the final stamp of approval and everything, but I haven't been really out of it. I'm still here doing a lot of the work.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been that much of a difference.
Okay, just the kids being able to adjust to a different leadership style, or
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's little things here and there they could probably tell you better than I.
Right, we'll talk to them after we're done here.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of the expectations are the same. The goals so much are the same, and we're still kind of in tryouts. We haven't gone over all of that yet. We had late tryouts due to basketball having another great season. So we're a little behind the curve a little.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. You lost a few guys from last year. Your top 3 hitters, Chase Vaughn, Bryant Booz, Aaron Sessions. You also lost Josh Hartman, all of them to graduation. Some of your top players last year, just like this year, are off the basketball team, so they only finished up a few days ago and now out here, so they missed a lot of practice time with you.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround, and we have a lot to cover, situations and bunt coverages and first and thirds, and those guys haven't been exposed to it yet. Some of the other guys have, and so we have a lot of work to do in the next few days.
It's also, and you correct me if you feel the need, different muscle groups and muscle memory and all that I understand that they're all in shape. They just came off of a pretty grueling schedule. So they're in shape out here, but fielding and pitching and throwing and batting and all that stuff, it's a different muscle memory than playing basketball, huh?
Oh yeah, hitting is all timing. And it takes a while. You see in spring training with the bigs, if they ever get started again, how the pitchers are always above the hitters or in front of the hitters at first, because the hitters are still working on that timing. So there's a lot to it with the basketball guys, and they're in shape. They can run, and that'll help. Yeah. But getting their arms in shape, that's a big part. We can't have Banks and Brusso throwing 100 pitches in week 1 or whatever. So it's going to be a gradual build-up.
Yeah, before we got on here, you talked a little bit about pitching. You said that this early in the year, your first game isn't for a couple more days, but or less than a week.
Yeah, the first.
Yeah. You said everyone's a pitcher. Are you still trying to figure out who your number one's going to be and all that?
Yes. As time goes, I have a pretty good idea if things shake out the way that I'm thinking it will, but that's the thing about baseball. There's so many unexpected that you don't know. I'm hoping for some surprises. We're in the Route 66 Classic coming up in a few weeks. That's 5 games where literally everyone's a pitcher.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll shake out a lot then.
Yeah. After that, I should have a pretty good idea.
Okay. We talked a little bit about the defensive problems that you had last year. I think that you had one of the players that left had 10 errors in 13 games. On a wrap-up last year, you mentioned that defense was a problem and that you're going to be working on that. How are things? You had hoped that some of these guys were going to get some more practice over the summer, get out and play a little bit. Have you had a chance to see where you're at?
Well, the big thing I've noticed so far is we've had a lot of guys willing, 3, 4, sometimes 5 guys willing and able to stay after practice for extra ground balls and fly balls, and so that's a big step in the right direction, willing to put in the extra work during the season. How much off-season work was put in, still hard to say. Mm-hmm. But overall, defense has been a part of emphasis so far. We'll see if that pays dividends. You just don't know until you start playing games. You can do situations all day long and run coverages and it can look good, but What really matters is game time.
When it comes down, when it's live and he panics instead of going to the raid. Have you had a chance to start gauging some of the guys, not the basketball guys, obviously that's taken a little bit longer, but some of the guys that returned from last year, or some of the new talent that you have coming out? Any surprises out there you want to mention specifically?
A few. Matt Brennan's a freshman. He's definitely, by watching him, he kind of passes the eye test of he's played games before, right? It's always a big problem we have at this level is the guys just haven't played a lot of games.
I can hit in the batting cage, but
when it comes down to knowing the situations and being able to adjust on the fly, that comes with playing the game. You know, running bases being a big one. And so you can tell he's been exposed to a lot of baseball, you know, a lot like a Tyson Banks in that regard, where he's played travel ball teams and things like that. So that helps him big time. Tyler Emmons has worked really hard behind the plate and defensively at shortstop, and might even throw some innings for us. And so those two have definitely stood out. You know, Tyson and Austin coming back from basketball so far, they look really good and fresh.
And big.
And big, yeah, they're still very big.
Two big boys.
And hopefully getting bigger. But yeah, I mean, a lot of moving pieces, but so far, you know, mostly pleased.
Good. And then as far as your division or your section, is there who do you think is your biggest competition?
In our region, Baghdad is always the top dog.
Really?
They are just good. They play the game, they're scrappy, they've got talent, they're 4 or 5 arms deep. They're just, you know, what you want to be for 1A baseball in our region. Williams, we play them as well. They're not in our region, but they're a good measuring stick. And
not Lee Williams, but Williams.
Williams, yeah, not Lee Williams, yeah, just Williams. And they're always pretty tough. We were supposed to play them basically about this time in Williams. I'm glad we're not. That got moved to April, early April, I do believe. So those are two that we always measure ourselves against. Also in our region, though, other than Baghdad, Anthem Prep. We split with them last year, and it was that split that was really big because we took care of the games we were supposed to have. That split is the one that got us into the playoffs last year. So.
Good. Well, and I think that Baghdad, after the way you guys treated them in basketball, they may have a little extra incentive to get back at 90-7. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. All right. Anything that we missed that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything.
So you kick your season off Tuesday. Are you at River Valley?
Tuesday at River Valley at 5:30, and then we have, I think, our next game against Parker on the 7th of March. I'm just not sure if it's home or away. So one game at a time.
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate it, and good luck, and we wish you guys all the best.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks everyone for joining us. This has been Chalk Talk. It's brought to you by Anderson Ford of Bullhead City. Go on and check out what they got going on over there, and we'll see you next time.